Welcome to Age Friendly Cleveland. My name is Mary McNamara, and I'm the director of the Cleveland Department of Aging. Across our country, we have what we call an aging network of services because no one division of government, agency, hospital system, or faith-based group provides all the services an older adult might need to age successfully. As examples, some older adults may need transportation or in-home health care, modifications to the home, or resources for staying engaged after retirement. It is our hope with this Age Friendly Cleveland series that you might learn more about the resources right here in Cleveland. This next segment is about one of the trusted agencies we work closely with every day to make Cleveland an age-friendly city.
Welcome to another episode of Age Friendly Cleveland. I'm Enrique Correa, and I'm joined by Dr. Stephanie Fallcreek, who is the CEO and President of Fairhill Partners. Tell me a little bit about your company, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So Fairhill Partners is a nonprofit organization located on the east side of Cleveland. We're in the city of Cleveland, but right on the border of Cleveland Heights and Shaker Heights. So I like to think of us as an anchor in 3 communities for successful aging. Our mission is connecting people with lifelong learning, intergenerational relationships, and successful aging opportunities.
You just mentioned that, successful aging. Expand on that if you can.
Well, successful aging to us means people who are able to negotiate, to navigate the inevitable changes and challenges that we face as we age. We have different challenges as teenagers than we do as octogenarians. And if you're over 90, you have a whole nother set. And in order to successfully make those transitions, you need to be flexible. You need to have the ability to change. And for most people, successful aging means either maintaining or making new relationships. You know, we have losses when we age. Our friends die, our parents die, we change jobs, we lose our jobs. And so dynamic relationships are really important to the successful aging process. Sometimes we keep the ones we've had since kindergarten, and sometimes we really have to reach outside ourselves and make new relationships, even though that's scary. And then finally, perhaps the most important ingredient, and sometimes the hardest to put into our stew for successful aging, is living with a sense of purpose and joy. Sometimes you feel like you've lost the opportunity to live with a sense of purpose. So those are the 3 ingredients for successful aging from our perspective.
Staying active, that's the key to a lot of this. Tell me more about this and how Fairhill Properties wants these people to stay active, because I guess they'll be more independent as well. Tell me about that.
Well, Fairhill Partners tries to create a whole range of opportunities for staying active, ranging from the most obvious physical activity. We have probably a dozen different kinds of fitness activities, from line dancing to chair yoga to really gung-ho, over-the-top active Zumba. And pretty soon, we're going to be having Walk with Ease all over the neighborhood, which is especially designed for people with arthritis, the most common disease in America, but it's just as good for people without arthritis. So they're staying active physically, and then they're staying active mentally, right? And they're staying active interpersonally. So body, mind, and spirit all need to stay active. And part of our job is to help people see what their opportunities and their choices are for doing just that.
Because it's important to stay active.
It is.
And a lot of people don't know that, but it's very important, because you want to keep people active, keep their minds going, and that's exactly what your organization is trying to promote, correct?
That's what we're about.
Okay. One of the things you have in your organization is called the Take Charge of Your Health program. Tell me about that.
Well, Take Charge of Your Health is a lot of different sub-programs, but it's recognizing that especially as we age, we're more prone to chronic conditions, arthritis, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, chronic pain, all of those things. And they don't have to be something that sort of weighs us down and keeps us from doing the things that we want to do. And so we have workshops, 6-week workshops and 8-week workshops that help people take charge of whatever their health situation is and get the knowledge that they need to manage it themselves and acquire skills. Skills in eating, skills in moving, skills in communicating with our healthcare providers and our family so that we can do what we want to do. A lot of times we feel like somebody else is going to direct what we do. If we have diabetes, they're going to tell us what to eat. No, we're still in charge. You're in your healthcare provider's office only the tiniest bit of time when you think of your whole life. Most of the time you're in your own kitchen, or for a lot of people, you're going out to eat, but you're in charge. You make the choices. And what we want to do is help people equip themselves to make the choices that are best for them so that they can live the way they want to live. And that takes knowledge, skills, and most importantly, self-confidence, so that you know that you can make the choices that you want to make.
You just mentioned those workshops. Do they cost anything?
They don't for the participants. We're funded by Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging and various foundations, like the Cleveland Foundation right now is funding us to deliver these workshops all across Cuyahoga County and the Agency on Aging to Lake, Lorain, and Medina counties as well. And so for participants over the age of 60 or for family caregivers, there is no charge to attend those. And that also includes a very important workshop series called Matter of Balance that's all about fear and fall prevention. We were talking about staying active. Sometimes people shrink their world, become less active because they're afraid they're going to fall or they're afraid they're going to embarrass themselves. And what we say is the thing that you're doing to prevent a problem is often causing you the very problem you're trying to prevent. When you shrink your world, physically or socially, you're actually putting yourself at greater risk. And we want you to learn how to do the things you want to do while you're minimizing your risk at the same time.
How can our viewers sign up for these workshops?
They can go on the website, fairhillpartners.org. They can call us on the phone, 216-421-1350, or they can stop by 12200 Fairhill Road, right at the top of the hill where East 124th meets Fairhill Road. And you can find out about workshops. They're right there in the Fairhill neighborhood, or all the way to Grafton and Wellington in Lorain County, or all the way to Madison out in Lake County. And we can hook you up with a workshop, or we can provide you with a new opportunity to live with purpose and joy by becoming a volunteer. A volunteer in the office, or even being trained to be one of the volunteer leaders of one of these Take Charge of Your Health workshops.
Another program you have that I found quite unique was kinship care. Tell me about that.
Kinship care, usually called grandparents raising grandchildren, but the truth is it's older people of virtually any relationship who are taking primary responsibility for raising younger people, infants, toddlers, elementary school children, teenager. So you're a young guy, picture yourself age 80, and suddenly you come into responsibility for 3 preteens.
Wow.
Wow, what a challenge.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's very scary because you know what? There's 2 generations between you and those children that you're wanting to give a good start in life. And so one of the things we do in our, we call it Kinship Care Program, is we offer support groups. We have a weekly drop-in center at Fairhill for older relatives raising children, and we have education and training sessions, and then we have respite Saturdays. And on the respite Saturdays, the older people can come, and then we have activities for the children that are being raised also. Our partnership with Metro Parks, we're so excited about it. We have an adventure club at Fairhill Partners where a group of the young people every 3rd Saturday of the month goes with the Metro Parks to a nature adventure while the grandparents are having a good time, learning and getting support. And I've got to tell you about our newest kinship program. We're running a grandfather's support group. Most people, when they think about kinship care, think about it being the grandmothers. And the truth is, it is mostly the grandmothers. But picture yourself in that situation I put you in a minute ago. This time you're only 70 and you've got a 6th grade girl and a 9th grade girl that you're parenting. Big challenge. And you want to be with other grandfathers who have successfully navigated those waters and maybe who are facing some of the same challenges that you are, and to be a support group for one another. So we have just started a group for these grandfathers. There's now about 5 of them that are meeting together. And
That's great.
we want to encourage
It's like
grandfathers.
It's
a support group.
Like a support group.
Absolutely, a support group of their peers. So if there's any grandfathers out there watching this, give us a call at Fairhill Partners and let us hook you up with some other people in the same situation.
So who's eligible for all these great...
For kinship care,
Yes.
people age 55 and older, but the truth is if you're a little younger, we're still going to accommodate you because there are plenty of grandparents in their 50s, right? So we try to be supportive. Each program has different eligibility guidelines based on the funding, but we try to embrace whoever we can. And some of them are very limiting and some of them are very open. So the best thing to do is call or come by and we'll let you know.
You have plenty of great programs, but another one that you have that it's the Senior Guest House.
The Senior Guest House is a very, very special program for first-time homeless elderly. It is the only resource of its kind anywhere in Northeast Ohio. And so what we have is a very family-like situation. I love it. It's actually taking place in what used to be the doctor officer quarters when this was the Cleveland Marine Hospital back in the 20s and 30s and 40s. And so we've renovated a side-by-side duplex into a temporary home for first-time homeless seniors, where we help them get eligible for benefits that they may need to find a permanent home, where we hook them up with medical care if they haven't seen a doctor in a while, and where we try to help them acquire some of those skills to adapt to those challenges we were talking about so that they can learn to live in community, in the community.
Another program you have is adult family caregivers.
Just like kinship caregivers, a lot of people come into the caregiving situation for family members. It could be their parents, it could be their spouse. And of all the things they ever planned for, they planned for a family vacation more than they planned for their caregiving responsibilities. I bet you yourself or someone you know is a caregiver for an older person. And so we try to recognize that caregiving is ageless.
Right.
You can have a 90-year-old spouse caring for an 80-year-old spouse. You can have a 55-year-old adult child caring for a family member, a sister that perhaps has early onset Alzheimer's. And so again, much like with kinship care, what we try to provide is a support environment, a support group. We have a weekly drop-in support group on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock, and then we have education and training sessions, and again, respite opportunities on Saturdays. We all need those dynamic, supportive relationships, but sometimes when you're in the middle of a caregiving situation, no matter what the nature of that situation is, you feel like you're all alone. Like nobody has the answers, you don't know where to go, and what you really need is somebody to say, hey, been there, still doing that, let me give you a hand.
What do you mean by a multi-tenant campus?
Well, that's the social purpose real estate part of who we are. We've tried to collect in this grand old campus of 9.5 acres and renovated brick buildings, a lot of organizations that are all committed to serving the community. So that's our social purpose. And we have about 30 different organizations on the campus now, right? And always looking for more. We've still got vacant space. If you know a nonprofit that's looking for a great place to call home. And part of what we do is to try to partner these organizations with each other, but also partner them with us.
Well, you have given us a ton of information, and for our viewers to go and check out, I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Enrique.
And that's all we have for this episode of Age Friendly Cleveland. I wanted to thank our viewers and Dr. Fallcreek for joining us. I'm Enrique Correa, TV 20. Remember, we are Age Friendly Cleveland.